Senators going back to Capitol Hill today, just 3 days ahead of the partial U.S. government shutdown deadline. There's a threat here of a funding lapse, and that has escalated after Senate Democrats came out against a key component of a House-approved package that would keep federal agencies funded past this Friday. The parties are at odds right now about funding for the Department of Homeland Security following that fatal shooting of Alex Preddy in Minnesota. Here's Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro earlier today on CBS Mornings.
The thing I'm most focused on right now is whether or not Congress is going to stand up by, I believe it's this Friday is their deadline.
Yes.
And stop the funding for this mission in Minnesota and stop funding any missions like this in Maine or anywhere else across the country. Congress needs to step up. It's one thing for Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott and others to begin to show a little bit of spine here and standing up to the president. It's a whole other thing for them to vote to stop funding these kinds of missions. That's the most important vote this week.
So let's go live to CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin, what kinds of limits on DHS funding are Democrats pushing for here?
Hey, Reed, it's great to see you. Yeah, this is going to be a very critical moment in terms of this funding. What Democrats say they want to see, they haven't coalesced around a specific set of policies yet in terms of the legislative bill, but they have started to talk about or have been talking about various proposals that they want to see. And there seems to be a group coalescing around the idea of having ICE agents produce warrants for immigration arrests, having ICE agents ID themselves. Remember, they have been wearing masks. There's also interest in having these agents wear body cameras, given all of the evidence that we've seen in video and other things that are being talked about. But the bottom line here, Reed, is that we've seen a notable shift over the past several days in light of this shooting. Remember, just last week, Congress or the House approved this spending measure, including funding for DHS. You had a number of Democrats sign on to that proposal. Well, fast forward a few days, and in light of this horrific shooting, Democrats are saying that they want to withhold funding until there are, in their words, guardrails established, policy established by law when it comes to this immigration enforcement. Now, what we're watching to see is whether Republicans cross over and support any of the things that they're talking about. Right now, as it stands, Republicans have been willing to have this conversation, but they are by and large thinking that the president can do it through executive order. That's not going to satisfy Democrats who want tangible policy outcomes out of this. And so we're waiting to see what happens here. We could seriously be on the brink of another government shutdown because this is a funding package. The House passed about 6 bills in a package, sent it over to the Senate. So if any of that is changed, meaning even if you were to strip out DHS funding and go through with all the others, it would all still have to be approved by the House because the legislation would be different, if that makes sense. The House is out for recess this week. They are not planning on coming back. So that is the dynamic that puts us at the brink of a government shutdown.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much for watching that.